Hi everyone, it's Brooklyn and this is season 1 episode 19 Provenance review of Supernatural. If you're new here, I'm doing like a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. Provenance, am I saying it right? Dean was saying it wrong a few times in this episode and then Sam corrected him, so I might be saying it incorrectly. Now this is an episode in season 1 that I've watched multiple times. Like I feel like season 1 and season 2 are seasons that like there's episodes I haven't really rewatched, and then of course the later seasons there's episodes I haven't rewatched because I just kind of I was watching them when they happened, like when they premiered I guess, and I never rewatched them because it's still kind of recent. But yeah, I haven't rewatched a lot of episodes in season 1. There are a few, but this is one I've definitely rewatched a few times, and I feel like this is one of the ones from season 1 that people do rewatch a few times, and it's also like I feel like the episode from season 1 that people remember the most. And when you're like, oh, let's like top like 3 episodes from season 1, well, other than the pilot's amazing, you know, people would always think about this episode. So what is it about this episode? Because actually it's kind of scary, and we talk a lot about like the monster of the week, and technically it is a ghost. We talked about like a ghost, you know, not just possessing like a house, but possessing, you know, we had a car, we've had certain things. In this one, it's technically like a painting, I guess. But I think a ghost possessing a painting is more common than a truck or something else. But I also thought it was interesting that the art, like in the photograph, you know, that changed, and that's how they were able to, you know, figure out what was what. And the dad was looking at the little girl, and it was like kind of like a warning, but they thought it was like the dad, and then it turned out to be the little girl, which I think the little girl was in Smallville. She was like the little girl who was like friends with Lana and then was like cloned and then wanted, I don't even, was it that same girl? Because in the photograph it looked like that girl, but then when she was a spirit it didn't look like her. But I think this might have been because they had so much makeup on her. So I guess what really is great about this episode is Sarah and Sam. And so, you know, in the end it was like saving a girl, you know, we had that. But a lot of times when it's like a girl, it's been like Dean who has like the love interest or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. The only other time was that girl when they were at the college with Hookman. So this is the second time where Sam has the love interest, but this is a little bit different than that. It seems like maybe like Dean's interested, and then, you know, it seems like she's more into like Sam like right off the bat. So then Dean obviously backs away, and then he's like the biggest windman when he's like, I forgot my wallet, we have to go back. And then he actually didn't forget his wallet and he did that so smoothly so that Sam could talk to her again. And also it's kind of, I think that's like, I think there's like, well, I feel like the B plot was Sam and Sarah, but there was also like this other extra part of it where it's like, you know, they're on these hunts. So Dean likes to have fun, he likes to lay back, and Sam's not that way. And then he also has still that trauma from what happened to Jess. It was great, like obviously like with the Hookman, we didn't really see much of a relationship in that. And so this one we really see it, and you actually like, you know, feel a connection to her. Like they write her as like a really great character where like at one point Dean's like, marry her because she's like so chill and she's cool and she's someone like, it gives a little bit hope. But of course, just like with Dean's character when he was with Cassie, you don't see her again. But actually this character you do see in a later season, and Crowley kills her. That's a spoiler, but that's like the only reason she comes back, which is also an awful reason for her to come back, where it's like they have these female characters for an episode and then they're gone and they never come back. The only like reoccurring one was Jo, and the reason that she was killed off and she was in more episodes was because fans hated her. So it's kind of this thing where a little bit to do with the writers, but then also to do, you know, with the fans, where, you know, they really wanted the show to be about the brothers, so they destroyed any chance of like having any like real love interest for these boys. But then it's kind of like that's how the female characters are, is then they're like just this one thing for one episode, they're used and then they move on and they're never come back again. And so it's kind of like that's how they're portraying females in the show. But then also like, why aren't there any female characters that are not love interests? Because then it's also like, if they were there, then eventually, you know, there's 2 brothers, at some point it's gonna be a love interest. And that's like the whole debacle with, I think, Cass, when we get to Cass, that you know, they had the cast character be a man, because if it was a female character, it'd been so different. Then that's what people say. If it was a female character, like Cass and Dean would have happened like so much sooner, or whatever you want to say into the dilemma of that. Anyway, we're going to circles. Remember, if you ever have the chance to watch the gag reel bloopers from, you know, every single season of Supernatural, but especially the early seasons are so good. And so in season 1, you know, the scene where they're at dinner, Sam and Sarah, it's such a small scene, but like they could not get through it. Like they were laughing endlessly. And like also when Sarah, like they reveal a secret to Sarah and Sarah comes and she's like, explain everything to me. Like they could not get through this scene because they were just laughing endlessly. So I don't know why this episode is just so special. Maybe because they have Sarah, and then like, I guess like it is like a good like plot and like monster and stuff, even though it's kind of, we've seen it before where it's like a ghost. But I think in the end, it's like an overall really rounded episode. And then the ends, and there was also like humor in that aspect in it as well. But at the end, you know, Sam kisses her, and that's kind of how the episode ends. And we never see her again. So overall, it's a really rounded episode. And if you didn't think it was that special watching it, like, I don't know, keep going on, because a lot of people see this as like a really special episode, and I do too. And it's an episode from season 1 that you'll remember. You might not remember some episodes, you might not remember the last episode we watched, but you'll remember this episode. And if you're someone who watched Supernatural before, like you probably feel the same way I do, where it's like, this is an episode you remember. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna end it here. That's the 19th review, and I'll do the 20th review next, but comment below your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and bye.